Thank you for staying tuned. Now, to tackle the country's significant water and sanitation issues, the federal government has embarked on an ambitious collaboration with the World Bank, launching the $700 million Sustainable Urban and Rural Water Supply, Sanitation and Hygiene Program, that is Surwash. In this report, Usman Zubairu examines how the national emergency has become a performance-based investment.
This Sustainable Urban and Rural Water Supply, Sanitation and Hygiene, Surwash, supported by the World Bank, is one of the programs seek to increase access to water, sanitation and hygiene services, strengthen sector institutions, as well as promote sustainable management of water resources in participating states. The program is being implemented in 7 states: Delta, Ekiti, Gombe, Imo, Kaduna, Katsina, and Plateau states. The target is to provide 6 million people with basic drinking water, also deliver improved water sanitation and hygiene wash services to 2,000 schools and healthcare facilities, in addition to assisting 500 communities achieve open defecation-free status. Now, in 3 years of implementation, a total of 58,558 persons benefited from the water supply. 5 households have improved sanitation facilities, and 12 healthcare centers and schools provided with complete wash facilities in the 7 implementing states.
They understand it as it is a repayment process, but then it was later understood that it's not repayment. It's not what you invest that you get back. Rather, you will be investing and getting more support to invest more.
We are going to engage a consultant that will work with the states in the preparation of their work plans, so that between now and the end of this year, all work plans by the states will be completed.
The Surwash program, inaugurated in February 2022, terminates on June 30, 2027. Usman Zubairu, NTA News.
Now, the topography of Ekiti State makes it difficult for some communities to access water easily for domestic purposes and farming. With the introduction of Surwash in 7 states, we're hearing more states, about 10. Well, the program has been able to support the development of water and sanitation infrastructure to improve access to potable water in public places. Tayo Osho reports.
Feyishe Kemio Lawale, a 9-year-old student, as usual on her way from school, with her schoolmates, says she stops to take a sip alongside her mates from the mechanical handheld pump courtesy Surwash anytime they are thirsty.
My friends are coming from school. If they branch my house, I'll tell them to drink the water. That is very good.
Benefits are from it, most especially rainy season. So there are so many at times to have developed faults. So and some people will come for the repairing. Then again, it will start working.
In alignment with the renewed hope initiative of President Bola Tinubu, Ekiti State government recently complemented the federal government's Surwash program by also ensuring that 120 schools and other rural communities, including farming settlements, have access to potable water. The novel idea of the state government is to improve water and sanitation infrastructure for the people.
It has been helpful in the sense that most of our rural dwellers that doesn't have the access to water, with the dredging of bore and that mechanical pump, it has been given the farmers a sort of tremendous assistance.
All the Surwash programs, particularly all the water points and water provisions that are particularly meant for Ekiti States, are presently going.
Although the initiative has specially endeared itself into the hearts of the people, utilizing these facilities in public places and farming communities has not been without challenges, which they say can be solved by domesticating the project to ensure the people have an oversight. In Ado Ekiti, Tayo Osho, NTA News.
All right, let's bring in our guests to start the conversation. How can states, or how are states taking the lead with the federal government Surwash program? Mr. Benson Attar is the National Coordinator, Society for Water and Sanitation. Thank you for joining us on Weekend File, Mr. Attar.
Thank you very much, Ruth, and thanks for having me.
I hope you've had enough water this evening.
I always do.
Okay, great. So let's look at this bold, and commendable initiative, talking about the Surwash. But what will be your assessment of the program so far?
I have to say that the Surwash strategy is the best thing that has happened to the wash sector of the country, because it's different from the previous method whereby money will be handed over to states or institutions to go and implement, then the such resources will be mismanaged. But in this case, it is payment for results. You implement, present your bills, the project will be assessed, then your refunds will be made for the implementation you've carried out. And so far, the Surwash program is really making progress in some states. Particularly those states that are responsive and also that really understand the implication of having such a program in their various states, and also that love their citizens. I will have to put that in, because if you have states that do not love their citizens like we observe in some places, you will not see them benefiting from this, because first the state governments have to put down resources for the implementation to be carried out. After the implementation, the Surwash team will now go and carry out an assessment. Once they're satisfied with the implementation, with the result, then the refunds or payment will be made to the state. So the implementation is really on track. Okay.
It's good you ended with implementation, because recently the Minister of Water Resources came out to say the already existing 7 states who have keyed into the program, talking about the Surwash, are yet to submit work plans, which is delayed implementation. And there are plans to onboard about 10 states into the program, making it 17 states. What would you say are some of those bottlenecks hindering states, from coming out with this effective work plan? So we're seeing the full implementation of this program.
At the inception of the program, not all the states understood the mode of implementation, and it really took some of the states time to really find their feet, and particularly getting competent persons to occupy the various positions that needed to kickstart the implementation at the state level. And some of these might be the bottleneck at the state level that might hinder or the submission or bring about the delay in submitting their work plan. But I think gradually the states are picking up and getting to understand the mode of implementation, and are gradually coming up with the implementation. And where there are challenges, I'm sure through regular meetings and regular engagement with the states are also picking up with the implementation, except in those states where their principals refuse to release resources or support the implementation. Otherwise, as at now, I don't think there's any state that will say it doesn't understand the implementation, except if they have other issues hindering them.
There's also the call for enhanced, or rather improved collaboration and stakeholders' engagement. I'm sure that's part of the reason that could be a way out towards effective implementation. What are your thoughts?
If the program is implemented as planned, there won't be any hindrance. But unfortunately, some states might want to politicize the program, like bringing in people that are not fit or competent to work in the program or carry out certain activity within the sector in their state. Otherwise, if they go by the structure that have been put in place for the implementation of the state, then such state will not have any challenge in carrying out implementation. But some states tend to bring in, politicize it, thinking it's a political, the usual political practice whereby you have to support, give back to those who supported your political allies. So that is those are the areas where you have shortcomings affecting implementation. Otherwise, if they stick to the mode of implementation and the implementation guidelines, you will not have such bottlenecks.
All right, Mr. Atta, we'll pick up with the aspect of accountability. That will be after the break. Do stay tuned. Thank you for staying with us. The implementation of the federal government Surwash Programme in Kaduna has received an advanced, has reached an advanced stage here, with 48 institutions, to include communities and health centers, have benefited water and sanitation hygiene facilities across 6 local government areas of the state so far. Our correspondent Haruna Mohammed will tell us more.
With Kaduna among beneficiaries, the program seeks to strengthen existing water agencies, promote hygiene practices, and ensure sustainable management of water resources, with implementation at an advanced stage in 6 local government areas of the state, touching on communities, institutions, health centers, and hygiene facilities in both rural and urban settlements.
This facility, therefore, will go a long way in helping us to reticulate clean and safe water in one of the hostels in the camp.
Mubarak Shehu Ladan is the Director General and Chief Executive Officer, Kaduna State Rural Water Supply and Sanitation Agency.
For so good, we've been able to implement this program in quite a number of communities across the 6 local governments in Kaduna State that is currently implementing the program. For us in Wasa, about 48 institutions have benefited. Currently, Nigeria is having this aggressive campaign, and it has reached the nooks and crannies of Nigeria. And also in that aspect, quite a number of success has been recorded, because the open defecation campaign is expected to be achieved by 2030.
Residents are hopeful for a future of better health, improved hygiene, and sustainable water access. Haruna Mohammed, NTA News.
All right, Mr. Atta, we've seen Kaduna demonstrate stronger ownership and commitment to the Surwash Programme, which has been the advocacy for states to take, the stronger ownership for it. And this is in connection with the accountability I was talking about. Mr. Atta.
Yeah, just as I said earlier, the way the program has been structured is difficult to cut corners, because it is what you put in, you get what you put in. So if you can't implement substandard project or carry out some substandard job and expect to be paid, because if it doesn't meet the specification, then that means you've lost whatever resources you might have put in. So the implementation has to be in line with the specification laid down by the Surwash program. And also, we should not forget that the money from the World Bank is not a gift, it's a loan. So any state playing with such should know that they are going to pay back the loan. So, and the citizens also should be the watchdog and also monitor how such implementation is carried out. It's different from the previous implementation, whereby money is handed over to the stakeholders in advance to go and implement. This one, you implement, they go back and inspect what you've done in line with whatever standard or specification you're supposed to work with. And if you meet that standard, so you get your reimbursement. So with that, the accountability is really strong. But having said that, we also expect that the state, the citizens and other stakeholders in the state should also show interest and take ownership of the implementation. Otherwise, they may be the ones to lose, because you see that in those states where the implementation is very high, you have a minimal outbreak of diseases such as cholera. But in those places, in other places where there's the implementation has been ignored, or they're not paying attention or showing as much interest as other states that are enthusiastic about the program. You see them coming down or reporting a serious outbreak of infection. So you could see that it speaks for itself. If you do well, you get good results. If you perform poorly, you see the outcome through infection, and with this, it also affects other activities in the state in terms of economic and enterprises.
Okay, Mr. Atta, just very briefly now, how can states amplify on the already existing practices, talking about hygiene practices at community level, for them to build resilience on sanitation and hygiene practices?
It's for the states to take ownership of WASH program in their various states, because without the state taking ownership and prioritizing the implementation of water, sanitation, and hygiene, you see that states will continue to have these challenges. So it's for the authorities in the various states, starting from the state governors and the commissioners, to take ownership and prioritize the implementation and show political will, because if there's political will, everybody will key in and carry out and achieve success. Because now we are recording cholera outbreak in some states across the country, and this is as a result of poor water, sanitation, and hygiene, and that stems from open defecation. In most places, most of these places, both urban and rural areas in some states, are without toilets. Even people build houses without toilets. So you don't have if you practice open defecation, you don't expect to be free from diseases or infection. So open defecation contributes to ill health and the outbreak of diseases, because currently we have serious cases of cholera outbreak in some states across the country. Even in a particular state, as at this week, the number went to about 14,000 cases of cholera. So you can see how terrible it is. And this is as a result of open defecation. Last week, we were in a state to train stakeholders on how to intervene in cholera. Just behind the house of the community leader, you can perceive a stench of open defecation of feces. So it's a practice which all the state government and state governors particularly have to stand up to it and also face it and show love to their citizens.
And it starts with you and I also, people taking responsibility for their actions. Thank you very much, Mr. Benson Atta, for your time on Weekend File.
Thank you for having me.
Our pleasure. National Coordinator, Society for Water and Sanitation. So let's take a break. I need a sip of water.